Hey there, and welcome to the Do Life Big podcast. This podcast is going to be your jam if you want to live to your full potential and don't believe in half-assing anything in your life. If we want to do life big, that means we've got to get out of our own way because we only have this one shot to make it awesome. I'm your host, Kathy, and I'm a mom of three whose BFF is cold brew, a retired school teacher turned online entrepreneur, and an author. I'm loud, bold, and will always keep it real. I'm determined to live my best freaking life possible, and I'm here to help you do the same. I'll be packing this podcast with tips, motivation, inspiration, and strategies to finally get you where you want to go. And we will have a ton of laughter along the way because, let's be honest, we can't ever take ourselves too seriously, right? I'm so excited you are here with me today. Now let's get this party started. Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode number 2 of the Do Life Big podcast, and I'm so excited to have you guys here with me today. We're going to dive right in. I'm really pumped to be able to spend today talking to you guys about how to produce that change in your life. And if you want things to change, then you have to change. You changing is really the only way that things in your life will ever change. And if you don't, then you'll continue to keep getting the same results you've always been getting. And I know you don't want that. That's why you're here today listening to this episode with me. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. That was a quote that I read from Jim Rohn years ago, and I kept it written down ever since because it's so true. We have to be willing to work on ourselves harder than we work on anything else in our life. And way too many times when there's an area in our life that we want to improve on or change or get better at, we are really good at looking around at all the other factors and external things going on in our life and our circumstances to put the blame on that of why we can't change. Like, I will change once the kids go back to school, or I'll be able to start eating healthy, once I get past this big celebration that I have coming up. So we look at all these other things, which is really just putting the power of change in control of outside external forces. And we can't do that. It's much more difficult to stand there and look in the mirror and look at yourself and ask yourself, what do I need to change if I want to be able to produce this kind of change in my life? What are the areas that I need to improve on? What is it that I need to do? And we want to do that. We want to focus more on the internal piece versus the external, because then it puts the control and the power back in our hands versus externally. We don't want that. We want to be the ones that have that control. You are the creator of your life. So we can't sit around and complain about it. If we aren't happy with something or want a different outcome, then we have to be brave enough and aware enough to make the change that we need to make to get the result that we want to get. Because what got you here is most definitely not going to get you there. Most people won't do what they need to do to produce that change that we want in our life. And the reason why is because our brain loves predictability. It craves routine. It thrives on this. So that's one reason why it can be hard to make the change that you need to make. There was a study that was done years ago that was really interesting. They had a bunch of monkeys, and they would take a banana and they would hide it behind a piece of cardboard. And then they would remove the cardboard and the monkey would see the banana. And then they would do it again. They'd put the banana behind the cardboard. They'd remove the cardboard. They'd show the banana again. Now, after a while of doing this, you get my point, the monkey knew, because it was predictable, that every single time that they lifted the cardboard, there was going to be a banana on the other side, right? Well, all of a sudden, they decided to switch it up, and they decided to, instead of doing a banana, let's put some lettuce behind the cardboard and see what happens. So they put the lettuce behind the cardboard. They lift the cardboard up so the monkey can see it, and when the monkey realizes it's not a banana, it goes crazy. It literally goes bananas. All right? Because the brain likes that predictability, and it was predicting a banana, and all of a sudden, it sees lettuce. The brain can keep you trapped, and this is how it does it. So when we do things that are consistent with our identity, that becomes our safety zone or our safety net for our own identity. But you can easily override this with your thinking. But it's also going to mean that you have to get out of your comfort zone. Staying in your comfort zone just keeps on proving predictability. So the only way that you can become the kind of person who comes out of their comfort zone is by actually getting out of your comfort zone and taking that action. This is what creates change in you and change in your outcome. Wherever we go, whatever we do, our brain is always thinking, is this safe for me? Am I going to be safe? How can I protect myself? For example, when we're walking through the woods and we're going on a hike and you see a bridge in the distance, the very first thing that your brain asks itself is this safe? Am I going to make it across to the other side? It's not like, oh, hey, let's go jump up and down on that bridge. That looks awesome and fun, right? It's like, is this thing safe? Is this sturdy? If I walk across it, like, am I going to make it to the other side? Right? We don't like uncertainty. That's why we aren't willing to make that change. So you have to be that small percentage of people who do it anyway. But here's the thing, certainty is honestly just an illusion. The only way to create change is not just by thinking it. You can't just sit around and think it and think about all the things that you need to do to create that change. Like, think about if you were, for example, someone who never really worked on their health and their fitness. And then all of a sudden you were like, all right, I need to start working on my health. I have got to get healthier. I've got to lose this weight. This is not a healthy way to live. I want to live a long life. Okay, here are the things that I'm going to change. I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to get this kind of food. I'm going to make sure I drink this amount of water. You do all these things, you think it in your mind, right? But guess what? Then you end up on the couch watching Netflix. That's your brain protecting you. You have to change. You have to change your comfort zone. So, what do you want to change? It doesn't even really matter what it is. Your brain doesn't know the difference between real and imaginative. So, think about a big change you've wanted in your life for the last year, and you still don't have it. What action have you taken on creating that change in the past year? What action have you maybe not have taken? The way to create massive change in your life is in baby steps. So think about what things specifically have to change. Little changes consistently will lead to that big life change that you want. But just start and be okay with starting small. What fears are you choosing? If you keep holding on to this fear, you're choosing it. I want you to understand that. We choose the thoughts that we put into our head every single day, and our thoughts create how we feel. So we're choosing this, and you're choosing it because it's giving you predictability and keeping you safe. It's backing up your identity. You like to be able to predict what's going to happen. You got to take aligned action with the identity that you want to create. So, what aligned smaller actions can you take to create the outcome that you want to get? You can listen and learn all you want, but the change and transformation won't happen unless you take that action. Are you taking on the identity of a happy, positive person? Or maybe are you someone who wants to be a happy, positive person? Or the identity of a wealthy person? What are little things you'd do if you were a happy, positive person? Same thing for wealthy people. We don't like uncertainty. So many times we want change, but because of the lack of uncertainty, we won't pay the price of discomfort to create the behaviors, to create the outcome that we want. I'll give you an example. I just started this podcast. This is brand spanking new. Obviously, this is podcast episode number 2. And I've made a shift in my business. I was running an online health and fitness business for 8.5 years. And now I've gone a totally different route. And I have my own podcast now. And I have my own mindset course for online entrepreneurs. And I'm going down a totally different path. And I was invited to attend this live event in, where is it? Arizona? Yes, Arizona. This live event in Arizona in October, and there was going to be 500 other entrepreneurs there and podcasters and just people in general who want to grow and improve their life. And for a second, I stepped back and I thought, man, I should really go to this event, right? This would be really good for me. Like, I got to get out there, get out of my comfort zone. This would be the first event that I had gone to in years. I'm talking years, completely alone, where I literally knew no one there. Like, I'd be going to this 3-day event completely by myself, not knowing anyone, putting myself in this situation. And there was a little piece of me that was like, that seems kind of scary. But then there was another part of me that said, no, this is freaking awesome. Like, this is exactly what you need. You have to be willing to put yourself into these situations and be open to them if you want to grow and get to the next level that you want to get to in life. And so I went online just a couple nights ago and bought the ticket to attend it and booked the hotel and I'm on my way. And I will be attending this amazing event, which I am super excited about, come the end of October. That's an example, guys. Every single thing in your life must be earned and paid for. And I'm not just talking about for money. I'm talking about stepping out of your comfort zone. If you want things in your life to change, you've got to pay that price of getting over that fear and taking that fearless action and doing what you need to do to change it. You can't sit around all day long waiting for other things in your life to get better or change in order for you to change. It does not work like that. You will be sitting around waiting forever. You have to take responsibility for your own life. You have to take ownership. Whatever you see around you right now, this life that you have is all put there because of the thoughts that you have chosen over time. It's a result of your past thoughts. So if you want to change where you're going in the future and you don't really like that outcome that you have right now, or there's some area that you want to improve or change going forward, then you have to change the way that you're talking to yourself now. Choose the thoughts that are going into your mind and make them be more serving and more positive ones. And you have to really think about, okay, what's the next little step that I need to take to come out of my comfort zone? You do it scared, guys. You do it even though you're nervous. You just do it anyway. And the more you do it, the more confident that you become. But you've got to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting here a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and you're going to look back and nothing in your life is going to be any different at all. Nothing will have changed. If anything, it may have even gotten slightly worse. So you've got to take that responsibility. You have very little power when you're in your comfort zone because you aren't doing anything different. So you aren't changing. And there's no power in that. Like when you are living in your comfort zone, guys, and nothing is changing in your life, that means that you have legit given your power away to external factors around you. And I don't know about you, but I'm a major control freak and I want to be in control. So I will continue to take those fearless actions and do the thing, even when I'm scared and even though I'm nervous and even though I feel like I may throw up. I know I'm going to be okay. I know I'm going to survive. I will do it anyway because I know that that is what needs to be done in order to build the kind of life that I want to build. And that's how I got here today, by taking those little actions out of my comfort zone for almost 10 years now. Nothing about your life will change if you stay in your comfort zone. I really want you to know that. And you have way more power and control than you think. You just have to be willing to sit there, look in the mirror, and say, all right, if I want to change this, what are the things that I need to do? If I want to go here, if I want to build my business to this level, if I want to leave this job and go this route, whatever it is, what are the things that I can do today that will take me out of my comfort zone to get me closer to that? Because the things I'm doing now definitely are not changing anything. So I don't want to keep doing what I'm doing. I want it to change. So let's do that thing. You're fooling yourself if you think that you can just sit there and think about it in your mind and keep doing what you're doing. If you think things will change by you continuing to do the same thing day in and day out and just sitting on your couch trying to manifest this life that you want without taking that action, and you think if you just do it long enough it's going to happen, it's not. You're going to be doing that for a long time. It will happen as long as you are brave enough and courageous enough to take that action. You want the power back in your life. I know you do. So I want you to just sit down and really think about it. What do you want? What do you want to change? What is that thing over the past year that you wanted to do that you didn't, where things haven't changed? And what is that one small baby step that you can take right now after you listen to this that will bring you out of your comfort zone and move you closer to where you want to go, or closer to that area that you want to improve in your life? Because that's what it's going to take. So when you're done with this podcast, do the thing now. Don't wait. Do it now. And then, go share this podcast episode right now with a friend who you know needs to hear this. This is how we're trying to spread my message. And I would really appreciate it. So thanks so much for choosing to spend your time here with me today. I hope you have an awesome day. Go kick butt. And I will see you in episode 3. Thanks so much for listening in. I really appreciate you choosing to spend your time here with me today. You totally rock. Hey, listen, if you loved today's episode, go ahead and tag me on social and go share this with a friend right now. Do it immediately before the day gets ahead of you and you totally forget. Couldn't be more pumped to be on this journey with you guys. Go make today awesome, and I will see you the next time.